Hey everyone, it's your Hearth Patio and Barbecue Association Government Affairs team. I'm Ryan Carroll, again, Vice President of Government Affairs for HPBA. And today we wanted to bring you an update on some state legislative activities that we've been keeping track of throughout the year as we enter summer and progress through summer. A lot of state legislatures have adjourned now, but there's been a ton of activity that we want to bring you up to speed on. And to do so, we're going to bring Corey Krill, our Manager of State Energy Policy, to talk about electrification efforts and fuel choice legislation. Corey.
Thanks, Ryan. Across the country, the 2023 legislative sessions, as we anticipated, proved very eventful. Going into these legislative sessions, we had 20 states on the books with fuel choice legislation. Fuel choice legislation is a law that would prevent local governments from banning any particular type of fuel. So if a state passed fuel choice, that means no cities or counties within that state could pass an ordinance that would prohibit consumers or businesses from using any type of fuel. As the session progressed in 2023, we saw 5 states codify language, all in a bipartisan way. Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota all passed bills relatively early in the session. And towards the end of the legislative session in 2023, North Carolina codified this language into law. Unfortunately, in Wisconsin, where a fuel choice bill passed through both chambers, this measure was ultimately vetoed by Governor Evers, and HPBA and our coalition partners will try to pass that again in future years. The only outstanding piece of fuel choice legislation left is in Pennsylvania, where the measure has passed the state Senate and is awaiting hearings in the state House. We don't believe that there's a very good chance this bill passes in 2023. The state House in Pennsylvania has not moved on very many pieces of legislation, and we anticipate that it will not pass before the General Assembly there adjourns for 2023. There were bills that were passed in different states that were more adverse to our industry, starting from east to west in Vermont. The state legislature there passed Senate Bill 5, which was dubbed the Clean Heat Standard. This bill creates a complicated version of a cap-and-trade system that would ultimately make the fuels used for some of our gas products more expensive and disincentivize consumers from using it. The regulatory process to set up this cap-and-trade system is going on currently. Once it's finalized, it'll then have to be passed again in the General Assembly in Vermont and wouldn't potentially go into effect until 2025. HPBA and Northeast HPBA are tracking the regulatory process and will keep you updated as things move along. Slightly westward in New York, their state, through their budget process, passed kind of a first of its kind gas ban in new construction. Starting in 2026, no single family or multifamily residential buildings will be allowed to be hooked up to gas infrastructure if there are less than 7 stories tall. And then in 2029, buildings larger than 7 stories tall will also have to be fossil fuel free moving forward. And even further west in Colorado, their General Assembly passed a standards bill for some of our products. HPBA and Rocky Mountain HPBA were able to work with the legislator and the committee to find some amendments to the bill that made this a little bit more advantageous for our industry, including adding an exemption for gas log sets, and helping redefine the pilot light language to ensure that our products could be used. That's all the state updates for me. If you guys ever have any questions, feel free to contact me or anyone on the HPBA Government Affairs team. Thanks. Bye-bye.